Maggie-Negan relationship, how do you think Maggie is dealing being behind the gates with Negan, especially now with Herschel there, her son? How do you think she's kind of managing that?
I mean, that's the whole season. That's what we're going to unpack this year. So I will, like, you know, if there's a feeling that could be had, we'll probably spend some time on that feeling, and then we'll move on to another one of any. It's crazy. It's honestly crazy. It's been the most fun I've ever had on this show, in terms of like just navigating, like cruising through this ocean of what you want to do and what you can do, and where she's been.
That moment in the episode where we see Herschel for the first time, which was pretty emotional. Like, there are so many emotions that are packed into it, you know, because of Glenn, where she's been, she's back, and now it, you know, I felt like I had a similar experience the first time we saw Judith Grimes, and I sort of felt that, like, hope for the future. And then I see little Herschel with the cap on, and it's so it just pulls at so many different things, but also feeling some hope for the future. Does that represent all those things for her? Does Herschel represent all those things for her?
I think the innocence of him, and also what we get to understand is what he's had to see because of where he's been, and what all these kids have seen. But there's some pretty dark stuff that they've been through as mother and son. And it's like the contrast of, you know, the hope for him and everything that he, like the life of his dad that we get to still see continue through him, just butted right up against the most horrible human emotions. And like just this, like, to want safety for him and a stronghold for him. And I'm explaining this so terribly. There's just like I feel like there's just no short answer to it. But it's at every juncture when things seem so dark and so dire, I feel like we get to go back and see Herschel and remember what it's for, and not just for my young son, but for all the kids in this. It's just like those themes in the season of the terrible things we have to do to protect what's pure and wonderful is like, I mean, that sustains you and helps you sometimes make hopefully better decisions, sometimes really tough decisions.
Sort of really quickly, whatever you can say about Maggie's experience with the Reapers, because she seems to have a little more knowledge about them than maybe she initially lets on. Is there anything you can say about that?
I think, without saying so hard, you'd think we'd be so good at this by now. I think without saying too much. No. I think the thing with the Reapers is like they're on this really difficult journey, and then they are being, you know, hunted basically by this group, just to add this level of you know, trying to get their basic needs met, and then being, you know, really for what just seems like sport from the Reapers that our people have been so and actually in this case it's Maggie's kind of friends and newer friends and family, and then it ends up coming a little bit closer to, it's just too many things. I've said too many.